Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. You know what? Do you hear that noise? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
That noise, dun 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 dun. That's the same note as on The Price Is Right.
Really?
Da 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 da. A new car.
Okay, I'm trying some more different live streaming software. Hopefully this is all working right. So we're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page, also the Poster Children page on Facebook, also on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. Search the YouTubes for that.
Wow. That's very impressive.
You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero. And also you can subscribe to the podcast. I always forget to say that. So search for Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. Don't just search for Radio Zero. I don't think it shows up. On Apple, Spotify, other places, or you can go to radiozero.us and subscribe to the podcast there. All right. I feel like a real podcaster.
Like us or
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and I'm yeah. All right.
So Rose is going to be on vacation next week. We may have, I think I've scheduled a guest. We may be doing a pre-recorded special guest episode. So I promised that we would start trying out some guest stuff. So we're going to be doing that soon.
It's not my mom.
It's not your mom, but we could always, if something doesn't work out, we can always
have my
your
parents
mom on call.
Yeah.
To
my dad too.
Yeah,
My dad
yeah,
could
exactly.
critique all of the male actors in the past, 40 years on TV.
Although he's like old school, he doesn't like doing that in public. Like
Yeah.
if he's sitting on the bandstand with the other musicians behind Jackie, like just a comedian named Jackie something in the 1950s, he'll talk about famous people.
Jackie canceled, you're talking about? They've all been canceled. Bag Boys, like, well, go on. I'm just gonna interrupt you.
But then, like, if he's not, hanging out with the musicians in the back talking, shit about actors, he's not going to say it in a public forum. He's old school like that.
All right, so
he won't
if
go
he's-
on the
if he's-
radio and diss.
My earliest memory of all this is just like is like all somewhat good-looking TV actors are gay. Apparently, that's like I didn't know what gay was, but I knew that all the TV actors who were men were gay.
And why is
when I
that,
was
Rose?
little.
You need to
Because
explain.
like my mom's watching the Thornbirds or something, and who's the actor in that?
Richard Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain. He's gay. My dad would just say he's gay.
Which turned out to be true, but Richard Chamberlain did not
probably
come
are all
out
gay.
until he was very old. Like, I think after George Takei, even later than that, I feel like Richard Chamberlain.
Came out after George Takei. Yeah,
But your dad knew. He knew. Like I said,
Yeah.
he's sitting there.
they're all gay.
Was in show business, knew.
That's
but
true.
It's just not something that you would. But he would say that for people like, what, Tom Selleck or something.
No, I said that about
Oh,
Tom Selleck,
okay.
and like not Linda Carter. Linda, we always talk about Lindsay Wagner. Who's
Lindsay
the woman?
Wagner.
No, who's
No?
the woman in the Bionic Woman?
Lindsay Wagner.
All right, who's the woman in the Terminator?
Oh,
Her.
see, somebody's got to be
He didn't like
screaming,
her. I like
screaming at the computer
fine.
radio.
As if they're not already. That woman, the woman in the Terminator, Linda Carter. Let's just call her Linda Carter.
Let's call her Linda Carter. Even though that's not
I
her
don't think
name.
he probably liked Linda Carter. I'm going to have to go. You know what I can do is I can just ask him a list of people like your other podcast, and then I'll have a check, like or dislike. I'll let him rate them.
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
And then
sort
I'll
of
just read you guys
privately.
the results. Yeah. But he didn't. So I was into her, the woman in the Terminator, because I liked her tank top, and I liked that you could see her muscles, and I was all about her. I thought she was great, but then he didn't like her at all. He didn't think she was attractive at all.
Yeah, what did he? he say? What did he
You
call
can call her a truck driver,
No,
though.
no,
I don't
that's,
remember. Linda Hamilton?
Linda Hamilton. Yes.
Really? Okay, I knew it was a Linda. Thanks,
Yeah.
Gordon.
Um,
Hi, Larry. And we have to do a Carla.
Bruce Willis
Evan
was
Lamp already. Dan.
Bruce Willis was the truck driver.
He's the truck driver.
He's a truck driver.
Yeah, and Dad loved.
Or maybe no, maybe he just said he's a bartender, which he was.
He's a bartender. Loved Dan Aykroyd. Hated Bill Murray, which I never. I couldn't get. And then went like always would.
I thought he didn't like Dan Aykroyd. He
No.
said he wasn't funny. It's Bill Murray that's not funny to you.
Bill Murray is not funny to my dad. Think about it. Bill
Yeah.
Murray, like for some reason, Generation X people love Bill Murray. Like he's the fucking guy from Nirvana who's still
Frickin'
alive.
Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Will follow him into
Yeah.
alcoholism and death.
Yeah, yeah. But wait, who is it? The more Carla's saying, the more you like somebody, the more he would diss them. Yeah. See, we need Carla on here. Okay, so we have to do a little update on my sister here. Not my Star Wars sister, my biological sister. So can you give me...
You have two of them, just to be clear.
I
so
know.
not to
There's
upset
another
the other
sister
one.
too,
Yeah.
but she's in London and already had a vaccination.
So she's dead to you. She
No.
left you 30
No.
years ago.
No.
And no.
No, she's just dead to me after like 7 or 8 o'clock at when it's bedtime in London. So can you give me a little music? I talked about I need sister music. No.
Sorry, I honestly thought that was this music.
Okay, and then that's the sister music, but my sister just got, what would you call it? Not a stab, a jab.
A jab.
She got jabbed.
But see, that's kind of inaccurate because your sister who's in London, she would have gotten a jab. But your sister in Illinois would not have gotten a jab. She got a shot.
Oh, I see. All right, so
Jab is
she
more British kind of terminology.
All right, so Carla got her second vaccine, and now you can play the other music. Got her second vaccine. She's Team Moderna, so good luck, Carla. About 6 hours.
Oh, she got her second one.
Yeah, she got her
Oh.
second one today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no, she was
It's
worried
good.
about it
Friday's
too.
the best day to get it. The second shot.
Any day is the best day to
No.
get your second shot.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're
Friday.
right. Friday is better.
Friday is the best day.
Friday is better than, what day did I get mine? I was
You
supposed
got
to.
yours on. Yeah, you were supposed to get it on Sunday, and they gave it to you on
Yeah,
Monday instead.
we ran out. Sorry. Come
We're not
back
gonna-
tomorrow morning before work.
You don't look important. We're not going to open up a new box.
That's kind of what they said.
Yep.
So anyway, she got she got it at she didn't even have to go to a grocery store. She's so special. She knows people, and she got to go to a special private practice and stuff and get it. So, and she was a little worried about it, but I told her it's going to be fine. And then she said, "Aren't you the one who said that you wanted to die, or you felt like you were dying?" And I said, "No, I believe I WhatsApped my family in the middle of the night with the message, 'Put me in fire.'"
Yeah, that was the message.
How did you feel after your Moderna? Were you sick too?
I was. It took me a while, but I just go lie down. I mean, that's the thing is what you do is you just go lie down and take a nap. That's been, you want therapy, you want medication and everything like that.
Just
honestly,
go have a donut and take a nap.
yeah, that can help too. Yeah,
Oh, I wish
like
Bag Boy was here to
eat too much sugar and then
kick
take
the shit
nap.
out of you for this.
No, I'm not doing a tough love thing. I'm just saying sometimes all you need is a nap. That's always been my best coping mechanism.
Actually, the other day I was sick. I felt really sick and really tired, and I did lay down and I took a nap, and then when I got up I felt better.
Yeah,
Yeah, Carla, that's what you should do. But everybody put your hands together and give a couple of claps for Carla for getting her, because she had some peer pressure, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna
She already
irritate
had the
her.
first one. There's no
Yeah,
reason
I know.
not to get the second.
She's totally into science, but she ran into somebody like a friend, like not a friend. I'm not supposed to call it a friend. She ran into an acquaintance. Are he's checking his stocks right now. He doesn't care
about
you,
that in a little while.
Carla. She ran into somebody who was unsure, an undecided voter.
On the fence.
On the fence of. So what can you say to people who are on the fence? Because I just realized,
You know what I would say is good luck the next 3 months. We'll see how this all washes out. I mean, can we transition into talking about the CDC and what they said about masks
we
yesterday?
can't. I just wanted to put, I was like, well, people who aren't vaccinated can catch coronavirus and die.
Okay, so we are
Fuck
talking
them.
about it.
But we are talking about it a little bit, right?
Go ahead.
Yes, and but then my friend Ming, who's a researcher on the Facebook, said that Larry, you're distracting me. My friend Ming's, I was like, oh, who cares? Just let people just not get vaccinated, and then they can catch COVID, and then they can get sick, and then it's all over with. But then Ming said that, if you have the coronavirus, you have if it continues living around and bouncing around from person to person. The more it lives, the easier, the more time it has to mutate, and then it'll mutate past the vaccines that we have. And then that's the problem.
Yeah, but also, talking about, what's going to happen when, if the vaccine itself, becomes ineffective against a mutation. But,
But good luck, Carla.
Yeah, so I'm a little upset. I mean, I feel like the messaging we got a year ago, which was, you don't need a mask. Don't use a mask because we're worried that humans are monsters and will hoard all the masks, which is true. And so we're going to lie. We're going to say masks don't do anything, and then that's going to bite us in the ass. And now I feel like, we're going to swing the other direction and say, you know what? It's okay. If you're vaccinated, you don't need to do that. And we'll trust people to do the right thing. And I think that's going to have
Did they actually say they trust people to do the right
thing? No,
thing?
but I think it's.
I don't think they trust people to do the right thing.
Well, then why would you lift that? Why? So
because
the thing
for the rest of us,
yes.
It's
so
enough
here's
already.
the thing:
Okay.
the people who got vaccinated, I feel like, I've been fully vaccinated. I wore a mask today at a public event full of other fully vaccinated college professors and faculty, staff, and everything like that.
Wow.
And I don't mind. I would gladly or have no problem wearing the mask for another 3 months, even though I'm vaccinated, just so these morons who aren't getting vaccinated are still pressured. They feel like, so there are some people who don't want to get vaccinated but aren't so boneheaded that they, they'll at least be pressured by society. And so if there's a sign at the store or in a public place that says you must wear a mask, they won't go in there, or they'll put on a mask because they want to go grocery shopping, right? I think there's a segment of the people who refuse to get vaccinated and don't think they should be vaccinated and don't want to get vaccinated. I'm not talking about people who can't be vaccinated, right? And that's the other problem, is there are people who can't get the vaccine, and so you're trying to protect those people. That's the whole point when you are going for herd immunity. It's not to have everyone vaccinated, it's to make sure the people who can't tolerate the vaccine, and I don't mean mentally, I mean physically, are protected. No, but so anyways, I think those people, you're going to have a wedge of society that isn't going to get vaccinated and is going to be wandering around, and they're going to be infecting all the other people who've decided they don't need to get vaccinated, and you're not going to know who's who, and that societal pressure is no longer there, and we're going to have numbers go up in the next 3 months, just in time for me to start teaching in person again, and they're going to have to fucking shut everything down again. Whereas I would have no problem wearing a mask over the summer, and then the numbers going down even farther, right?
Yeah. Okay. So,
and then it's like, oh, I can teach with my mask off, rather than, oh no, well, I'm sorry, we've still got a lot of people, and we've got these variants flying around now, and we're going to have to shut down again. So that's what I'm worried about.
So we're banking on. So here's what I'm trying to.
And your response was, well, the people who don't want to get vaccinated, that's their choice, and if they die, they die. And I think that's wrong. Not to throw you under the bus. And I know you were being glib.
No,
or not. Yeah.
No, I think they should die. That's their choice. They want to die. or they want to take a chance. Take a chance, and it's been, this is what I told my sister too today, is it's unfortunately, this whole thing is politicized. So right now, if you've decided you're not going to get a vaccine, it's because you love Trump or you hate Biden, and that's why you're not getting a vaccine. And I was saying, it's like when you see a drunken teenager getting into a car, and start driving drunk, you don't think, "Ooh, he's probably not a Democrat." He's probably likes Trump. Like I would. That's fine. Like you don't. You judge. You go, "Oh shit, that guy. That's a hazard. That's an accident waiting to happen." There's no, thinking about politics when you see a drunk driver.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm saying a drunk teenage driver. There's no politics. So this is somebody acting reckless also. This is somebody not getting a vaccine, right?
Yeah. So what's your point?
But that's, well, my
I feel
point.
like that just reinforces what I was saying. You're kind of like saying, I feel like your response is, well, let the teenager get drunk and crash their car because they've made that choice.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying it's unfortunate. I'm not saying let it happen. I'm
Right.
saying that it's unfortunate that it's been politicized. I'm like,
Right.
like, what was the thing about the Gaza, like family in Gaza, takes solace, family whose house has been bombed, in Gaza, takes solace in the fact that that situation is really complicated, or something, right? Right. Yeah. So, so I'm just trying to think of this realistically here. Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
am
trying
too,
to think of
and
all the
that's the
constituents
problem,
involved.
is-
Okay. All right. Wait a minute. All right. Yeah. So realistically,
I think the CDC
yeah, I didn't think it,
made a profound error when
Yeah.
it comes to human nature and taking a common sense approach, which is that, well, okay, yeah, the reason why the numbers are going down is because people are getting vaccinated, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue.
Right. So
The reason why it's happening is because there's a lot of pressure,
yeah.
peer pressure, which even though there are a bunch of people who are monsters now and don't give a shit about other human beings, there are enough people who still react to societal norms or perceive societal norms. And so one of those is now, I think, is that, yeah, you wear a frickin' mask. And so having an extra few months just to make sure and not just make it
Bauer's kids are flying back to the USA and getting their Pfizer shots tomorrow. Hooray. I hope they don't catch it while they're on the plane. Evan Lamp, I'm sorry. Yeah. Evan Lamp says, sends a Vice.com article that says anti-maskers ready to start masking to protect themselves from the vaccinated, which I think is pretty cool if that's true, and not what is that called? The Onion satire. If that's, I haven't clicked on it yet. Sorry. I will get to it. But okay. I heard the woman from the CDC say that people who are vaccinated are not going to catch. It's like 99% effective. So you're not going to catch it, and you're not going to carry it. You're not going to catch the.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not going to move it around. So if that's the case, there's no reason for you to wear a mask.
Right.
That's like, see how complicated the situation is?
I understand.
So,
I don't think it's complicated. I don't
okay,
think it's
so
complicated.
you're not going to
It's
catch
that-
it.
It's that
So there's no reason to wear a mask except for peer
there's no-
pressure. But
no. So again, if you're going to spend the first few months of the pandemic telling people they don't need masks, and that wasn't the CDC, right? That was the World Health Organization. I'm conflating the two, right? But you tell people that they don't need masks. So you're socially engineering and using, shoot you in the head, and fucks things up beyond belief because you're doing that. And then you turn around and decide, well, no, we're just going to be purely scientific about this. And yeah, you don't need to wear masks. And
well,
I mean,
think that was also politicized too, because if they had, you had like higher ups, like the president saying, well, first they said we weren't supposed to wear a mask, and now they are. And,
exactly. And
well,
so,
they don't even know what they're talking about. And
but now I
instead-
feel like we've gotten past that battle for the
Yeah.
most part. And it was crazy people who didn't want to wear masks, and there was a pressure, to say that now those people are going to take off their masks and they're going they're not going to get vaccinated. And so is the assumption that, oh, well, it doesn't matter. But I feel like if there's a certain, if it's what percentage vaccination rate do we have
thought
right
it was
now?
like I don't know, because I thought it was 46% the last time I heard.
So let's say 30% of America decides not to get vaccinated and is wandering around. You're telling me that when you're in a crowd of 100 people over the summer
Yeah,
on 4th of July
yeah.
watching the fireworks,
We're not going to
you're
catch it
saying
because we're
those
vaccinated.
we're going to be fine, but those 30 people who didn't get vaccinated and are wandering around, they're not going to get.
And maybe the other thing is that they have a better, there are better methods of taking care of people when they're sick now. I mean, I heard
Yeah.
I heard the hospital beds were 98% full last week here, and now they're like, yeah, you can take your masks off, and not only 3 people were dying, and like they were in their 50s.
Yeah, well,
One was in their 30s.
let's put a pin in it and set a reminder for 3 months from now and see what happens.
Well, can I just say a little bit more?
What would that be? May,
June
July,
15th,
July 15th, August 15th.
Okay.
Great, right?
Can-
right
can-
about the time school starts. Let's see what happens. Let's try
right.
to remember.
Exactly.
And I'm
Can-
fine. I'm happy to be wrong about this.
Can I just say a little bit more though?
Yes, sure.
Like, so I'm kind of sick of like doing the right thing and being penalized for it. Like we're wearing the masks. We stayed at home. We did all the stuff. Everybody else is having parties and deciding whether or not, on the fence about getting the vaccine and doing, just doing whatever they want. And then like people like us are like fucking, working from our bedrooms, like not going in, not endangering others and stuff like that. And then we get the vaccine, and it was a rough night that night. I'm sure it won't be for you, Carla, but for me it was a rough night and stuff. And so I did everything right, and yet I still have to keep, I'm getting tired of protecting people. And then when they tell me that I can't carry it anyway,
Well,
I can't carry the virus anymore.
I think that corrosive selfishness and that that's just continuing that sort of conservative neoliberal, individualistic idea that, basically you're on your own. And so this kind of, I think it's corrosive, and it undermines what's good about our world, which
Okay.
is that if you do the right thing, you should be rewarded. And there are a bunch of people who have made this a topsy-turvy world where it's like, no, breaking the rules, bending the rules, that's how you win.
That's true.
And,
Yeah.
And to me,
Yeah.
it's poisonous
Yeah.
because it's undermining our society.
But meanwhile,
It's like
Why
it's
do I
like
have to- why do I have
I'm
to
getting
wear a
paid
mask,
half as
though?
much of a person in the private sector, and then because those people in the private sector had their pensions taken away from them because it's the private sector, but it's explained to me that, oh, my pension, the reason why I'm paid half as much is because I have a pension and I have this guaranteed income in the future, and so that's why I'm being paid half as much as someone in the private sector. And then 20 years later, 40 years later, it's like, why the fuck do you have a pension? Why do you think you fucking deserve a pension? These people in the private sector don't have pensions. Why the fuck, you greedy asshole?
Right.
Why do you have a pension? And so that's the kind that to me it just
can't
triggers
say
this
it's-
kind of thing
yeah.
in my mind where it's like doing the right thing, and these people undermine the right thing, and then say that you're the greedy, selfish person, when it was like, no, it was sold to you as, well, no, this is a long-term, right thing. You're supposed to save your money. You're supposed to invest your money in the stock market for the long term and everything like that. And it's like, why the fuck, why the hell am I not getting, a 15% return, today, and everything like that. And it's like, and why did you put your money
but okay,
in
so
the stock market?
so
You know that it's a risky thing. Well, no, I was told that was what was going to replace my pension.
so I'm to wear a mask just for show, right? Just we're supposed to keep our masks on. The CDC should not have told us that we could take them off because
I don't know. I
People
mean, when you put it that way,
lie.
it just seems like, yeah, it's
I mean,
But you know what?
I know I
we've
can't
been
wear
doing
spaghetti straps at in high school either.
we've been doing security theater and so many other aspects of our lives. Every time you fucking take off your shoes when you go onto an airplane, all that kind of bullshit. We do this all the time in our society. And it's like, oh, now we're not doing that in the one time when it actually will, impact lives, I believe.
JD posts here that if we had, he agrees with you. If we had vaccine passports, he thinks the new CDC guidelines would be easier to enforce. And so why don't we have vaccine passports?
Well, why don't you frickin' wear a yellow star on your shirt? Why don't you have a scarlet letter? There are certain problematic aspects of this, and
I suppose I can change my religion.
Yeah, there are
or get a shot.
Certain arguments against, sort of these kind of markers for people. I think in terms of vaccines, though, I think it's questionable that argument.
Why do I need
because
a driver's license then? That's just like wearing a yellow star on my arm.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the argument breaks down, right? So the thing is that there's an aspect of privilege and accessibility, but the vaccine is free, right? And so that kind of destroys that argument. Also, like somebody said, I can't remember who they were talking about. It was like, these people have traveled the world. They know you frickin' need, to get your visa, you need to show, you have your yellow vaccination card. When I went to Indonesia, whatever it was, 30 years ago, it was like I had to get pumped full of a whole bunch of stuff to go there. And I had a little folder with all my vaccination information.
Yeah, I had vaccination cards back then.
And so we do that all the time as a planet.
And
right?
our kids need to get vaccinated in order to go to school, I think, here in Illinois at least.
But then, not to get into the woods here, but part of it is right now it's an emergency. It's not fully FDA approved. And so can you do that for emergency stuff? And we're going to be, debating that.
We're
debating it right now. We're taking a survey. The Student Government Association voted that. I mean, they don't have any power to decide this, but they endorsed the idea that all students should be vaccinated.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they voted, but they can't do anything about it. Yeah, ISU student government.
Yeah. Martha, like the Senate.
And now, we're getting surveys about what do we think about faculty? Like, can you require faculty and everything like that?
What do you think?
I have some opinions, but you can't absolutely. Again, you can't absolutely require it because some people can't be vaccinated, right? They're
and then some people,
and that's
God
discrimination.
doesn't want them to be vaccinated.
Exactly. And so, again, that's fine until it becomes like the companion dog on the airplane, right? And so it's all fine if you need that companion animal, and it makes sense, right? You need that companion animal to in order to traverse the complex modern society and all the pitfalls it's put up physically for people, right? You need that animal. But then if it's just like, I need to figure out a way to get Tuffy onto the airplane, I'm going to say it's my companion animal. That's where all this kind of stuff breaks down, right? Where it's like, and so it's same thing where it's like, well, no, I don't believe in vaccines, so I don't need my kids to be vaccinated. And then all of a sudden everyone's getting, measles again, right? And so you have these windows, and that's the whole freaking point of the forcing, and is that so for that slice of our society that can't be vaccinated or has an excuse on religious grounds that the rest of us are protected, but I don't feel like we're at that number yet.
Yeah.
And our 12-year-old's not going to be able to be vaccinated until July, the beginning of July, because he has to wait 3 months because he had his boosters, a booster vaccination at the beginning of April. So he's going to have to wait. And he's 12, and it's like, okay, but so some crazy anti-masker, anti-vaxxer is going to, and you say, well, okay, 12-year-olds don't get it. But again,
and then actually,
what's the long-term, where's your long-term research?
And having breast cancer and getting your vaccine during radiation, even just being a breast cancer survivor for me lowers my like it lowers my immunity to it. My immune system was a little bit suppressed, I think. So, but it did feel like I was on fire though. Like it just not to scare you or anything, Carla, if you're still listening, but I'm sure you'll be fine.
I just felt wore down, and your sister is younger than you too, so the. Oh,
Yeah,
no, it's older. It's worse.
Might be worse.
That's right. Younger
Yeah.
people, it's worse.
Might be worse, Carla.
That's right. But I didn't have, the kind of symptoms I had, I just felt awful.
I felt like every cell in my body was on fire.
Yeah.
Like not even my body was on fire. The cells, like I could feel every cell.
And what's great is that I was able to just go lie down on the couch in the basement, which is like a tomb.
She's not.
And so you just got to find a place where you can.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you just find a place where you can lie down and not be bothered, right? Like you just have to be able to, like a crypt type environment where you can just lock the door.
Her
and
child
sleep.
too. Her child got the vaccine. Who would be Bag Boy's cousin, got the vaccine also.
Good.
He's a strong, healthy young man.
Yeah, they can just lie down together in a room and go to sleep for 12 hours and then come out fine.
Yeah.
It's just the trying to live your life while you feel like crap. You shouldn't do that.
I may have had coffee or something that night. I don't know why I was up all night, but I was up all night. And then the next day I felt fine. I really, it's weird. It does turn off. Like, it's like, okay, you're done. It's like, yeah. I'm sure you'll be fine though, Carla.
For you, no problem.
I'm having a good time making fun of her. I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, okay. My poor, beautiful sister, Yoga Princess. The other one is beautiful too. All right. So what else do you want to talk about? I don't feel like I got my whole mask thing out. Like I'm just like I want to go.
Oh my God, this has been like a half an hour.
I know, but I want to go outside. Like, you know what? I like walking around outside without wearing a mask. And I want to go visit. I want to hang out with our faculty, like in person.
Well, yeah, that stuff is fine
without a mask.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
now.
So hanging out with people who have all been vaccinated. He's checking his. Okay. Why don't you? It looks good on you though. Yeah. Okay. Why don't you? The other thing about my sisters that I love is that we can like I know to me they're perpetually 14 and 19 or something like that, or 12 and 15
I'm sure
or whatever.
they love that.
They're perpetually like young, right?
Isn't that the best part of family? Is that they treat you at whatever age they've decided they liked you at.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No, I like them just as much now as I liked them back then. But so think about the people who you spend your daily life with, right? Our faculty and stuff like that, right? All the people we hang out with, they're usually about 10 years younger than us and stuff like that, right? But how many of them are going to quote Caddyshack to you? Only your family is going to quote Caddyshack to you. Isn't that like quoting Rodney Dangerfield? Like what student is going to quote Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack to you?
I don't know. If it was a Dan Aykroyd quote, maybe I'd be more interested.
All right. You want to talk about that's the other thing. Like I had a fight with Bag Boy about how much I should hate Elon Musk.
Oh yeah.
And I don't hate him any more than I hated him before. I have no feelings toward him whatsoever. He's just a millionaire whose name is on our car. And then I found out that
his name's not on the car. He didn't even start the company.
Okay, whatever. He's associated with the company. I like our car. I think it's kind of cool. It's different than other cars. He's got a good name, and he's on the autism spectrum, and he hosts Saturday Night Live. To me, I don't hate him any more or less, but Bag Boy hates him. Maybe Bag Boy won't even go in the car anymore. I don't know. Are you getting a message?
I have reminders like it's something about Twitch, and so stuff pops up, and so I have to do that. But I'm not listening.
Oh, okay,
so you
sorry.
shouldn't grind it to a halt because I'm trying to do
Are we
all
getting
of these
flagged
things at
on
once.
Twitch because we're talking about Elon Musk? Are our listeners
I have
going
to
up
look when I
because
get a
of that?
buzz. I have to look just
Elon
to make
Musk.
sure that it's
Tag
working.
Elon Musk.
Well, no, I think he's a jerk, and he comes from the the libertarian PayPal mafia. So, I'm not a super fan. I mean,
I thought he was charming, actually.
I thought it was fine. Again, like people somehow romanticize what Saturday Night Live is. Even if you watch the old episodes,
Can't even imagine why people do
even,
that.
Even the ones, whatever era you grew up, whenever you were 12 and watching Saturday Night Live is always the best era because you're 12, and then if you go back and look, it's like, oh, this wasn't that funny.
Hey, the Pink Panther cartoon wasn't funny at all.
Right, exactly.
I wasn't even high when I watched it.
It's like Silent Running, the movie. I always talk about the example of this is like Silent Running, the movie with Bruce Dern, devastated me when I was a kid. I was like 12 and I watched it, and it was like the most important movie I had ever watched in my life. And then, we went to college, and then they had one of those midnight showings, as a fundraiser, some nerd fundraiser. In the old days, you'd have a 16 millimeter print and you'd show movies in a hall at the university, right? And it was that, and went to see Silent Running, and I was just like, oh man, I ruined this movie by watching it as an adult. Although I watched it again, it wasn't as bad as I remember, but anyways, it's that same idea, right? So where am I going with this?
I don't know, Saturday Night Live.
But yeah. I mean, don't get too wrapped up in the quality of the show, but Elon Musk, is another one of those billionaire monsters, I mean, and on top of it, he is manipulating, economies,
all right.
cryptocurrencies
So
for his
about,
own profit.
Yeah. So what's the status on CryptoPunk 9603? Did he get sold again? Was that your?
I don't know. I turned off notifications, but I did.
Rick sold
Friday night after the. Do you want to talk about it?
No, you
Friday
talk
night
about
after
it.
After the show, a few hours after the show. Yes, my CryptoPunk. I had changed it Thursday night last week. Changed the price of it because my asking price had become astronomical because of the increase in Ethereum's value. And so I lowered my asking price, and then last Friday.
How
bam,
so you lowered it?
It's sold.
You lowered it, and then how long afterwards did it take?
Well, apparently I didn't even get notifications. Some people made offers, slightly lower offers on it, and I didn't get notifications about that. And then I got a notification someone bought it for my asking price. So it just automatically happened through the Larva Labs are the people. So I had gotten, I think I talked about the Meebit. So I'd already cashed out my Meebit associated with my CryptoPunk. I sound like a gibbering idiot.
You nerd.
And so that was the thing, is some people were buying CryptoPunks because you would get a free Meebit, but they said, make sure when you buy a CryptoPunk that the person with the associated CryptoPunk hasn't already cashed in their Meebit coupon, which I had done. So I'd done that, and so Friday night, a large amount of Ethereum got dumped into my wallet, and this past week has been me talking to my accountant. It's not an insane amount of money. It's a good amount of money.
20 Ethereum.
Please don't
30,
talk about
50,
it.
100. Tell us. Okay, so all right, go on.
If somebody
go on.
really wants to look, they can figure it out. But
right.
I don't want to talk. I'm
All
a
right, all right, all right.
Midwesterner.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable.
yeah.
I'm American.
How much did you pay originally for it?
Nothing. I paid
Well,
the
about
transaction
$12,
fee.
right?
No, I
Okay.
got $11 worth of Ethereum in 2017 and used some of that as payment for the transaction, but the original CryptoPunks had no cost other than the transaction fee, so they were giving them away. So basically zero investment. But what that means is I'm still doing it, and I kind of
It's wavering.
I didn't cash out immediately.
Yeah.
I waited to talk to my accountant on Monday. Now again,
Ethereum went up.
I talked to my accountant, and that sounds like I have a lot of money again. But no, the reason why I have an accountant,
It's for the band.
we have
It
an
was the-
accountant.
It was the
Yes,
band's
it's because
accountant.
we lived in a crazy messed up situation, which is we'd have all this band, not a lot, but we'd have band money coming in, record contracts, all that kind of stuff, and we had to make sure that.
We didn't have to pay taxes on it.
Well, no,
Well,
not that
we
we didn't
did.
have to pay taxes on it. That we did everything right, because you have to. If you haven't done this, it's not like just filling out an easy form. It's like deducting all the.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's somebody listening from or watching from Western Springs. Hello, Todd.
And so, yeah, I talked to my accountant, made a game plan, almost cashed out half of my Ethereum on Thursday night when it went up really high, and then I blinked and got greedy. I had a number in my mind where I should cash out half. I'm going to cash out half of it and keep half of it. And but also, these CryptoPunks, since they're considered collectibles or works of art, for those of you, if you ever get yourself into the situation, it apparently counts as a collectible capital gain, not just a regular capital gain. So collectibles, that's a 28% tax rate for federal taxes. And then the accountant said, you better tack on state of Illinois, depending on what they're going to do about this. And so I'm going to have to pay 33% of the value for what it sold in taxes. So I have to cash out at least that amount of money.
Yes, you better make sure that you have that money to pay,
Yes,
even if the rest of it just goes away. You have
Exactly.
to, at least the government will make 33%.
And had a nice conversation with someone who has money, and they said, you can't think of it as your money. You didn't do anything for it. It just happened. And the way they stated it was like, I didn't do anything for this money, and then on top of it, I don't have a problem, giving a chunk of it to the government that made this all possible. Right? Wouldn't have an internet without federal tax dollars. So, and so there would be no way I would have money from a 24 by 24 pixel goofball character without the internet. So I don't have a problem with it.
Charlie Edwards has a long post here, and it ends with anything that starts with the word crypto immediately slides through and out of my brain.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. It's not an easy, and me a little bit too, but it definitely, I think it is going to be a factor in our future economy. I think so. To give Elon Musk some credit, I guess it's not credit, it's just that to show that he's a capitalist and not a socialist, is that they stopped taking Bitcoin, and someone else just stopped taking Bitcoin too. I can't remember.
They stopped because it costs
the environmental impact.
Yeah.
So if you run an electric car company, it's not good, and even though you're building a huge toxic 4-wheeled cell phone, for people to buy, right? The excuse is that, well, you can this is a vehicle that you can transition to renewable resources. So solar, right? And so then if you start buying it and supporting an economy that's really detrimental, which Bitcoin is, but Ethereum's getting better, and it will continue to get better and improve and everything like that. So it's a little different. So that's the way I'm rationalizing it right now. But
and if you're listening, you don't know you don't understand why there's a environmental impact. I heard a really good, I don't know what podcast I was listening to, but I heard a really good statement about it's you in order to make Bitcoin, in order to transact it, even in order to mint new Bitcoins.
Yeah.
A computer has to do a bunch of calculations.
Huge amount of processing, and it's getting more and more complex as time goes on. Although it will end in 2040 or something like that. There's an end point for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will not be an infinite minting process. It's a limited thing. So, of course, by 2040 we could all be underwater or under ice.
We won't be underwater. We may
in
be under
flames.
ice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it may not matter. But yeah. So I'm super uncomfortable talking about this, but it's not life-changing money. So there's a guy like me, right? Read his story, but he's called Mr. 703. So what he did in 2017 was he was really interested in this, and so he has, he's anonymous for obvious reasons, but he basically bought over 700 CryptoPunks because he thought they were cool, and he looked around for neat ones and just got them. He didn't even buy them, right? He got them. He collected them. And then it's amazing. His story is exactly mine. And then in January, here's something about it. What he did, though, is he sold a couple, and it was that thing where they went instantaneously because he didn't really know anything about it. He had just left them, around for 4 or 5 years. And then he started asking questions and he realized, oh, I'm sitting on life-changing money, and he's sitting on them. He's not selling them. He thinks they're the future of art, and he's sticking to his guns. Of course, he has the luxury of that. I only had one. But yeah, there are people out there who bought these for fun that have, multi-millions of dollars tied up in this. Me, I'm operating on just a small level, and so what happened was this thing sold for more than I could ever imagine.
More than you make.
And
year.
I'm a college professor and a musician, so that's not a lot of money. Again,
that's true. Yeah,
more than I could imagine ever. Getting, like, I don't play the lottery or anything like that. So, but definitely small scale stuff for me. For in the big scheme of things, but for me it was,
it was huge.
Yeah, not huge. I wouldn't say it was huge. It's but anyways, now, so the thing is I got to get rid of some of this. I got to sell it, so that I can pay my taxes and I don't go to jail, right? But then I got caught up in the thing where the price went up over the weekends, and I was like, oh, all of a sudden I made money out of, like, first off, I got money for nothing, and then it was like my nothing started making more money, and I didn't do anything.
So you got greedy.
Well, I did get.
And then you started
greedy.
feeling sad.
I waited.
Right? Okay, yeah.
I waited instead of saying, "Well, I'm just going to get this out of my life." Well, no, I'm going to do the half and half thing.
Yeah.
But so I have some, but the idea is that if I lose it, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to first go broke, but I'm also not going to suffer because it's not real. But that idea, like, so for any of these people who are operating on, a level with multiple zeros every day, on top of this, it's insane. But it's also, there's no way that these people are doing anything other than gambling, basically, or playing the lottery, but they're doing it. And there might be a little bit of educated working on it, but it's just that they're taking risks with money and building it up and selling and buying stuff and getting hyper obsessed with this. And it's really creepy and poisonous. I don't like it, but I've set a level where I'm just going to get rid of this. But
it was up. So you're talking about the exchange rate between Ethereum and dollars, U.S. dollars, and it was up really high during the middle of the day today. I sent you a message that said sell.
No, I know.
It?
But I've got, now I'm going to stick to a place where I'm going to sell it, and that's what you have to do. You just have to say, this is where I'm going to sell it.
Wow. So it didn't get up as high as you wanted it.
Yeah. Well, what happened was earlier, I kept moving that number, and so now I've chosen a number, and I'm going to
move it
stick
anymore.
with it.
Okay.
Although I might not. I may go down.
All I can say is my Coinbase had $20 in it, and now it like sometime today it had 42. So imagine if we had more money.
And so the thing is I feel lucky that I got this windfall, but I don't see how. I understand how some people could do this, but I don't see this as a sustainable lifestyle. Like so when people say, should I be investing in Ethereum and everything like that? It's just like, or Bitcoin. I'm like, I would say, no, that's really stressful. It's really stressful.
This to me feels exactly the same as like back when I bought like Priceline stock it's,
which I never did anything like that.
Yeah. I did it like for a little while, and I'd buy, and it's the same as the way I gamble too. Like I like if I like when we would go to Las Vegas, or we'd go to, what's the other one? The beautiful one?
Reno.
We'd go to Reno. Like,
which is not.
Yeah. I'd get like
no one outside of this conversation would have gone to Reno after you said Las Vegas, and what's the beautiful one? Because
Reno, Lake Tahoe, it's beautiful.
Reno was literally, right? I feel like this was on a TV show, but I feel like we were watching the news when we were sitting in a Motel 6 in Reno, and it actually did show the Motel 6 we were in on the news. Like, I know that's happened in a movie, so I may have conflated the two, but I feel like that actually happened to us.
Probably did.
In Reno.
But my gambling, how I gamble is like I'll get like $4 worth of quarters, and I'll like put them in, and like if I win if I win like $1 or $1.50 or something, and I get to like $5.50, and then I stop, and then I go buy myself a hamburger.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, and that's read is like some of these like financial advisors, what they're doing now is they're telling their ultra rich clients, okay, I'll let you have this account and you have this chunk of money and you can play with it, right? It's the problem comes in is when these people start treating it as their alternate source of income, right? Or as a source of income and playing around. It's not a problem right now, is because people are making lots of money,
But
because
this
they're
is
dumping
what,
money
you
in.
know,
But it's a crazy way to make a living, I would think. And yeah,
when I first invested money, the guy was talking to me about, like, you have one, you have one volatile, like, real, like, it goes up and down, and you put a little bit of money in that. That's the one that you don't care so much about, and then you
Right.
have more stable ones. All right,
Yeah.
that's enough talking about money. That it's like blind people talking about colors.
yeah.
Okay, and then we did this with our money. Okay, so what else you got?
Buy my NFT. No. We got a new president at Illinois State
Oh my
University.
God, that's right. My husband was on the presidential search committee for Illinois State University, and here he is now, our guest speaker, Rick Valentin. Tell us about the new president, Rick.
Oh, Terry Kinsey. She's VP of Research and Innovation at Western Michigan. I think I have that right. Boy, I'm improvising now. I didn't realize I was going to be on the spot. I don't have my crib sheet here. It's the process was secretive, intentionally secretive. A decision was made not by any of us on the search committee, by the board of trustees and the search company, that it should be a private search. They said that's the way you get better candidates, and so people were a little bent out of shape about that, because we had a presidential search 2 presidents ago, I guess, that ended very badly. Someone who only lasted a year, and
think he
everyone's
lasted a year.
really freaked out that the process was not going to be transparent and public, because everyone wanted to make sure that we didn't screw up. But the reality is that I think it went well. Of course, I was I was one of the people, but we had a search committee, we had a governance committee, so some other people got to see the finalists. There were a lot of people. Like, our search committee had 33 people on it, I believe, which
Half
was
of them
the
were
largest.
board of trustees.
Well, yeah, the board of
Oh.
trustees isn't that large.
Okay.
But yeah, the full board of trustees was on the search committee, which was unusual. And then it was like 20 faculty and other representative staff and things like that. And so, I believe the search company said it was one of the largest search committees, if not the largest.
It was the largest one that they'd ever. That's. I keep hearing the same stories on the radio. So yeah, it was.
So that was, I think, the counter arguments. I think it went well, and I think the candidate we got is great.
It's
I was
also
impressed by her.
the first woman president.
First
My-
woman president of Illinois State University.
My husband selected the first woman president
Again.
of Illinois State University.
And
So I bought him a puzzle and a muffin.
As my pal on the search committee, the judge, said, the board of trustees chose. Right, he clarified when he said we made a good choice, and they said the board of trustees chose. And so that was the thing, is with these kind of committee things, I don't think people realize it is. So, for instance, job searches, like, we do committees for job searches, but it's up to the final decision is the dean's decision, for instance, in a lot of these situations. And so we passed along our recommendations to the board of trustees, but it appeared that they listened to our recommendations. Well, they were also on the search, so, but we had an opportunity to discuss it without the board of trustees also, so they did that too. And so, even though it was not transparent, and I signed a non-disclosure agreement, I can never, ever, I can't talk to Rose, I can't talk to anybody. Now that the search is over, I can't ever talk to anybody about the other candidates. It's, which is really strange. You feel like, oh, well, maybe when I'm 90, why can't I talk about it? But no, I mean, the idea is that, yeah, you can't ever reveal who these candidates were, or what we discussed behind closed doors. And so it's really, really interesting, except for the one candidate we have, which
And those of you
it's
who-
obvious
Yeah, who it is.
who it is, because it's been announced.
Those of you who know Rick know that he will never tell. He will never talk.
And
He's
there's
so
not much to
principled.
tell.
Yeah.
There's not much to tell. I mean, I think if there was some extreme situation where And honestly, I would be the person who would start complaining about it if something seemed out of line in the process
Yeah.
and seemed
Yeah,
unfair
that's true.
and unjust. I think, and there were a few other people. In fact, I think most of the people on the committee, if not all of them, would have said something. So it wasn't a situation where we had this secret group of 5 people deciding. It really was the kind of thing where even though it was a large group of people, it was just large enough to be able to have discussions. And honestly, not everybody said something each time, in a discussion, but you got an idea, I think, about what the certain, sort of trends and feelings people had. Somebody would say something and maybe, 2 or 3 other people would say, oh yeah, I think this. And then there'd be a counter argument person. And then other people would say, oh yeah, what that person said. And so it actually worked really well, I think, and is a model for our future. I really encourage, some sort of representative democracy as a way of coming to difficult decisions.
I
think we should look into it as a community, maybe on a local level, a state level, and a federal level, where you have a smaller group of people representing a diverse set of stakeholders, and you talk together collectively and come to a decision. I think that's a great idea, something we should think about.
You're being facetious now,
I am
right? You don't
being
really
super
believe
facetious. I
No.
do believe it.
I know,
I
I'm
do
kidding,
believe it,
I'm
but
kidding.
I believe we
Um,
have some things that are going on that make that
Yeah.
system
that. Yeah.
highly dysfunctional. But it worked. I think it worked in our situation here.
That's one thing that I like about the committees that I'm on at ISU too. I love, like, I don't know everything. I have some opinions, and I know that some of my opinions are pretty naive, and I'll say something. I always talk about this, and then there's this other guy that always says, well, I'm going to say, what Rose said, I feel exactly the opposite. And this is why. And I'll be like, cool. Like, wow, I totally believe you now. And then somebody else will come in and say, well, what Rose said and what this person said, but, here's my viewpoint. And I just absolutely, I just eat it up. The only thing I don't like about it is feeling like I'm not contributing enough. Like I wish I was smarter, in this stuff. And I don't know how I'm going to get smarter in it, but I'm just going to keep listening, I guess,
And I don't know if this was because of Zoom and everything like that, but I think we had a pretty good dynamic where there weren't too many people who felt the need to talk and repeat what other people said just to make sure that they were heard. And that's something I think where people talk just for the sake of talking, or to basically say, hey, I'm here, notice me, kind of talking, which can happen, like in public debate, like when you have like local governments and somebody gets up to a microphone and it's just kind of like, why the hell is this person, are they even talking about anything that's important, or is it just obvious they need to bring focus on themselves? And that, I feel like that did not happen with us. And so I think it was
Sounds
kind
like
of,
it was a really good,
it was
good
great.
experience.
Yeah, it was great. It
wonderful.
it was a lot of work and a lot of time. Like I said, there was that one day that was like half a day, like literally like 12 hours of Zoom, but it worked well and went as well as I think that kind of situation. It re-energized me in terms of the potential for getting things done at this university. Not that I was negative about it. It's just like, oh yeah, we can do this. It's kind of like, I think we've got a great thing going on, and we might be able to help, the world in the next year or two, at least from our little small impact on, young people coming to college, in central Illinois. It's just kind of like, oh, I think we've got a good thing here. And
we have I love our university. I
we're going to
love
be
where
able
we work.
we're going to be able to figure this shit out, or at least, survive it and have some good ideas and be able to get through it. So that excited me.
And you got to meet her today too. You know what I wanted to know is, did you end up wearing the coat? Remember,
I did wear my suit jacket.
You
yes.
were worried about looking too dressed up, but was it okay?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, good. And so what was? Can you just talk about how you like meeting her again and stuff? Because you'd talked to her before, and
Well, not directly.
okay,
I mean, well,
only
no,
on
yeah,
Zoom.
yeah. Ask questions. I think so. It depend. Yeah. I can't remember if I asked a question directly. Yeah, no, she remembered me. That's one thing about her is that she.
Aren't you Rick from Poster Children?
No, not in that way. It was.
I saw you at Kalamazoo.
There's a video you
like,
can see.
What's his name was on?
So some of these, since the board of trustees were on the search committee, that meant that these meetings had to conform to the Open Meetings Act. And so before we would go into private executive session, there was a public aspect of it. And sometime at the very beginning of this process, before we saw any candidates and everything like that, I asked a question to the search company because the same search company had worked with Oregon State University. And right at the time our search started, which that search was also private, they'd used that search as an example of why you keep it private. They said, hey, the reason why this guy became Oregon State University president was because he knew that no one back home at his home institution at the time would know that he was looking for the job, because that would undermine his, it undermines your authority if you're president of a university and everybody finds out that you're applying for jobs somewhere else, right? That kind of kills all your momentum. And if you don't get that job, it kind of everyone's like, okay, this guy isn't into guy. This person isn't, but it is, let's be honest, there's still a gender issue in terms of leadership at universities. It's definitely getting better, but
what was your question that you asked?
Oh, I'd asked the search company people, like, so the thing is that this guy kind of flamed out some stuff about how he handled sexual harassment issues with athletics at his previous institution just came to light and became a problem, and he left after a year, and that's exactly what we don't want to have happen. That was the one thing everyone could unite on, which is like, we can't make a mistake like we did the last search where the guy lasted for only a year. Well, yeah, we didn't have a second search. The thing is it was the last search, and then Larry Dietz, I believe, was the runner-up. And it was a public search. He was the runner-up.
He's a wonderful president.
Yeah, and the guy who's who's retiring this year, he took over when the first choice
number
flamed
18
out.
flamed out. Yeah. So what was your question?
It was like, what are they doing to
ensure that
vetting these candidates, and checking
well,
their background? Because there was a whole article in the Chronicle of Higher Education, just people complaining about, we trusted the search company, and we wound
it was
up
that
with
particular search company, and
the
you
same
actually,
search company.
and you like,
So,
my God, you grew
asked a
a
question.
pair of testicles.
I did, because I felt like no one else was going to ask the question,
Yeah.
which winds up being my role, is to ask the difficult questions. And so in the public session, you can go find the YouTube video. But so that's the thing, is I introduced myself, and then this our new president said, oh yeah, you're the one who asked the question. So she went back and watched this board of trustees video that's on YouTube and found
Did
it.
she slap you in the face?
No, she just,
Okay.
it's just, and that was the kind of thing, whereas like typically, and people on Radio Zero know this, is I'm fairly anonymous. Like I have a problem where like I'll walk off the stage of a show.
Nobody will know it was him.
And people will ask me, if I'm the T-shirt salesman and stuff like that, which I am. Well, Rose is more, but it's like, yeah, people don't seem to register me long term. And so that was one of the characteristics I noticed about her, is she seemed to know everyone's name, know everything that was going on, like researched everything, like to like a superhero level, right? And so that's the kind of thing where it was like, oh, this is going to be a great person, because it's not just somebody who's got a great research background and everything like that, but understands people and can communicate with people.
That's and like looks at people and remember. That's the one thing that I remember, like, about Larry Dietz, just meeting him a couple of times, is like, I'm the professor of music, so he's got his music, the one time that he conducted the band, story for me and stuff. But if you're really good, then you remember people, and then you're good at that. That's something that you can do. You're like, you remember everybody. That's probably that's a fantastic leadership quality. I hope you end up leading something, and I'm glad that you're going to be in the Senate and stuff, because you care about that stuff more than I do. I don't care about leading. I have no ego.
I don't think I care about leading. I just care about not making the wrong decisions. And it upsets me
Yeah.
when the wrong decisions are made.
Yeah.
Now that sounds like an assholey egotistical thing, but what
but
it
Rick's
means,
not an asshole, egotistic
Well,
person.
no, and I don't think it's a leadership thing. I think it's just kind of like I spend a lot of time thinking about scenarios and where things are going
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what's
That's
going on.
called leading.
I can't
navigating.
act on them, and
You're a navigator.
I've never in my life profited except last Friday. That was one of the things I was happy about this CryptoPunk is like, oh, this is about the only time in my life I've been ahead of the curve and actually something, I get some kind of financial reward for. Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, great. You were a grunge rocker. Well, that didn't really. I quit.
Yeah.
I quit computers. I quit my computer programming job to be a grunge rocker, and I probably should have. It's like the timing's always off, and the financial
Well, so
reward.
you hit this time with the
I
with
just
the
waited
CryptoPunk.
long enough and
Right.
didn't do anything, and I ignored it. But it's more like that idea of like, yeah.
But,
And so for me, it's more, and also I think, yeah, I don't know if that's a leadership. I think what a leadership thing is like to be able to see stuff and where it's going and be able to get people to go along with you. And I honestly, I don't think
Yeah,
I
you
can do
can't
that.
get people to go along. That's what I can do. I can see
Yeah.
the two of us together would be a great leader.
Exactly.
But like one of us can help the other one of us.
Exactly.
in-
Exactly.
in-
I don't
in
mind
different
helping
ways.
people.
That's where we're good.
I don't mind helping. I don't need to be the boss. I just need to make sure that the boss doesn't do stupid things. Right?
So I still wanted to ask you though, what was it like talking to the first female ISU president in 150 years? What did she remembered you? She said, "Oh, you're the guy." Did she say, "Oh, you're"?
I don't think she remembered me from the regular
But
interview
she said you're the guy who
processes.
asked that question,
Yeah,
and you didn't
yeah.
even have a beard then, did you? No, maybe you've
Well, I
been
have a
growing
mask
the beard.
on, so I introduced
Oh.
myself, and then she made the connect. That's the thing is, I
Okay.
introduced myself, and she made that connection. That's the thing is, she's really quick and makes connections, and that was obvious in her interviews
what else
too.
did
Is
you talk-
where she'd make connections even when it wasn't necessary.
You're the person who did this.
Or, oh, you're in the College
Maybe
of Fine
she's
Arts.
a poster children
Oh, you're
fan.
in the College of Fine Arts and talking from that perspective as opposed to just, like if I asked a question, it wouldn't be answering the question. Like, so what politicians do, right, is they answer the question, right? That's the trick is you don't answer the question you're asked.
You
You answer the question you want
Right.
wanted to ask. And
Yeah.
so it was more like, oh, this is somebody who connects the dots and tries to make a connection on what they're talking about with what you're talking about, right? Like finds a personal connection or at least tries to figure out what it was just great. Yeah, no, historical significance until you were weepy, said you were weepy
I was in
about
the
it.
car. I was crying.
And honestly, one of the reporters asked a question. So the head of the chair of the board of trustees, she's an African American woman, and she's the first African American and first woman to lead the board of trustees. And so they asked the question, like, what does this mean? And so she said, this is, as the first, African American woman leading the board of trustees, it's a responsibility, and it's what we have to do. We have to represent. If we want this institution to be diverse, we have to have people in administrative positions and in power that look different than. She didn't say that, but she said it very much more eloquently than me, a white man, can say. And then the president, reiterated and said, "This is how we're going to, we've got a lot of work to do, And that's true. And that's the thing that came out of this is that our university's doing really great in terms of diversity with the student body, but in terms of faculty, we're not doing great.
Right. But
My argument to that is that it's a great place to work, and so there's not as much churn, right? So the thing is that part of what can help with not just diversity, but forward progress, frankly, is when people die and retire, right? Or leave.
And hence
when people
we
leave,
should,
right?
and that's why we should not have to wear masks.
Mask. And so the thing is that if you're working at a place that's really great, and so you hear this narrative all the time is people who come right out of grad school after getting their doctorate and they start teaching at ISU, and their plan is that work here, I'm going to get tenure, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. And then they wind up staying for 30 years, right? They stay for their whole academic career, and that happens quite a bit at our university. And so what that means is that there's less
Turnover.
opportunity, right, for us to make an impact.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse. I mean, we have to work harder. And that's what the new president said. She said that the diversity of the search committee, she said the research stuff. Research shows that if you have a diverse search committee, you get diverse candidates, and you get a diverse pool of candidates, right?
Well,
She said
you
that.
should be pretty honored to have been a white male on the search committee. Then, you're.
I don't know if I'm
maybe you're-
honored.
Yeah.
It's just that it wasn't. It was, and the reality is that there's a lot of, even though it's a diverse search committee, there's a lot of privilege there, which is like we're all, a lot of us are faculty and staff working at a university, and so I think we also understand that there's more to it than just being like we have to look at how we're going to connect with the community and the state, right? Especially
Yeah.
but I honestly believe that our state still, people for the most part in our state believe in higher education and believe that state universities are a good thing.
Yeah, we have lots of them here.
We still have a financial problem where the state itself is not necessarily putting their money where their constituents' hearts are.
But so, I just wanted to say, like I was weepy in the car because I was thinking about the first woman.
And just to interrupt,
Yeah.
that was the thing, is it really hit me. Like your reaction really made me understand. I knew it was important, but I didn't realize. And then when she was talking about this stuff, that's when it kind of really settled in, where it's like, okay, things are going to get better. We're working towards this.
So when I think when I was in the Senate, I got to go to the presidential the residence. Like I think they had like an open house or something, and so all the Senate people could go there.
Yeah, I think I went with you.
You
right?
went with me,
Yeah.
right? And I remember. You remember meeting President Dietz, because you'd stand at the front door,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember meeting Daddy and shaking his hand, and then he told me of his experience conducting the band and stuff, and he's wonderful. But and then I looked to see what his wife was wearing, what the first lady was wearing, and I admired how she kept the house so sparkling beautiful, and I liked I don't know, whatever choice of plants and dishes and stuff like that. And then I went and sat in the corner and tried not to say anything stupid for a long time, and ate the canapes or whatever those were and stuff. And this time when I'm accompanying you, if you're going to go, since you're in the Senate now, if you're going to be invited, it's not going to be Daddy, it's not going to be Mommy, it's going to be a fellow, like a friend. It's going to be a friend there that's going to be running this. Like, I know that's stupid, but like I don't know, it's going to be, I know, a mentor and a leader and stuff like that, but it's not going to be.
Yeah,
I
so
feel
that-
like the glass ceiling is shattered.
I would like to clarify. Yeah, she. Yeah. When you said that, I was a little uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I think she definitely seemed like someone who could step into the leadership role and could be.
Oh, and on top of it, she's like she's a fantastic, her accolades. She's what is she, a biochemist?
Yeah.
Biochemist, and published everything. So she's a scientist, but also a leader too, which just like excites me to no end. Yeah, when I didn't want to say, she's, but
what you're saying is there's kind of
What
like a
I'm
more paternal kind of traditional role.
Yeah,
that
like
a white male president has, right? Or just a male
yeah.
president.
And
Honestly,
I'm
Al
a,
Bowman.
I'm a worker.
yeah,
and
with Al Bowman, it was like having
Yeah.
Dad as president too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
This
he
doesn't seem.
felt a little younger though. He was more like but he was.
But this doesn't
yeah.
seem. Yeah, this doesn't seem like Mom. This seems like somebody I can talk to. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to. I'd like her to help out our. I'd like her to know what we're doing. I want to
Yeah.
work for her. I want to make. I want to make amazing connections between the creative technologies department and every not department, sorry, program, and every other area on campus. And I wouldn't feel like I would have to sit and listen to. And I loved President Dietz, but I would feel like, I don't know, I would feel like she might listen to me.
Yeah. And
I don't know. It's good thing I'm not in women and gender studies, because I can't. This is not I'm not talking about what it feels like to have a woman president properly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to a webinar in
On design
15
thinking.
minutes. So
right?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Systems
well, thanks.
thinking, actually.
Sorry, systems thinking. Systems thinking. Oh crap! I would have done that.
All right.
All right. Enjoy. Thanks. There's still people listening. Thank you.
Yeah. So next week we may not do a live stream. So, but there will be an episode. So stay tuned. There'll be information coming soon.
Thanks
All
for
right.
listening.
Thanks, everybody.